allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All righty. Adoption of the agenda.
I am going to just note that under the administrator's report, I'm going to ask the board to consider a recommendation that the interview team is making for a hire at the recycling center transfer station.
You want to add HENP to the,
I don't know if you
Somewhere in
want to
there?
pick that up under the warrant, or you want to add it as a separate item.
okay, when we address the warrant, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. We good then?
Yep.
Yep. Public comment?
That's okay.
Select board announcements?
Looks like the recycling center compactors will be back in gear tomorrow.
Wonderful.
They're over there working right now.
I see Frederick over there.
Yep.
They're the ones that did all of our lighting here.
Yep.
They weren't? Oh, that was Lincoln.
There was quite a lot of damage to the contactors and the conduit, but they put it all back together, and they're over there wiring right now, and they should
Yep.
have it back by tomorrow.
Good.
Great. That's wonderful.
Things happen. Town administrator's report?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, everyone. I do want to just show everyone the 2025 annual town report has been released. It should be in people's mailboxes today. I particularly want to thank our staff member and communications specialist, Amelia Wazinski. She really put a beautiful town report together. It is posted online, so people can check it out on our website where it is in color, but it has been the town's tradition to send it to all residents of the community. How long we continue that tradition, I'm not sure, but it is one that we are certainly continuing this year. It helps people prepare for the annual town meeting, which will be on March 14th at Harpswell Community School. There's a lot of good information from our financial statements.
Good bedtime reading.
There's the warrant that lets them know what the proposed budget is and any ordinance changes. And then there are so many incredible reports contained in this document that really creates a historical record of what the departments have been doing.
Historical or hysterical?
No, historical.
Okay.
Yeah, historical. But, all the contributions that many committees make to municipal government and helping the select board move many of its priorities along. So I think people will appreciate having this document, and again, want to thank Amelia for getting that done. If anyone wants to vote absentee, they really should check with the town clerk's office. There is a deadline coming up on that, so I would just make sure you contact the clerk's office if you're intending to vote absentee. And that would be only for the election of the select board member, for 2 school board members, and also for the proposal at Clark Cove and the appropriation for Curtis Library. All of the other warrant items, you need to be present at the school. Again, March 14th, Saturday. The business meeting starts at 10. So that's my spiel on that situation, and I'll turn it back to you, Chairman Johnson.
All right. Consent agenda.
I will move the consent agenda. That's the approval of the minutes, the committee appointment and resignation, and election of worker appointees for the for election, and authorization of the warrants, of course.
I'll second that.
No discussion. All in favor? All right. MDOT
Oh,
public.
may I backtrack? I was the
No.
one. I asked to add the
Yeah, and you didn't do
recommendation
it.
for hire. I'm
Oh,
so
that's right.
sorry, and I was just moving
I thought My
along.
brain was itching for some reason, and that was it.
So we, the town, are advertising for a couple of openings that are coming up at the recycling center. 2 are full-time positions. 1 is a seasonal position. It's full-time, but just for the heavy summer season. And so we have started interviews, and the interview team is the manager, Chuck Perot, and myself, and then the deputy town administrator and the treasurer, Terry Gaudette. And we have a recommendation to make to the board tonight. We would like you to consider hiring Pete Arnold. He is a Harpswell resident. Many people know him because he operated Uncle Pete's on
Uncle Pete.
Harpswell Neck.
Yep.
He has great customer service skills. He's really looking forward to working for the town.
Yep.
And he would willingly accept this position. It starts at $20 per hour. And we didn't want to wait a couple more weeks because we could use the help next door.
Right, immediately.
Probably before then, so that's why I asked for it to be added to the agenda tonight, and I hope you will support that recommendation.
I wholeheartedly move that we hire Uncle Pete for the
I second it.
recycling center.
All in favor?
Right.
Thank you.
All right. Now, Maine DOT Working Waterfront Infrastructure Grant Application. If I had to make a guess, Mary Ann's got to come speak to this.
I think you're right.
No. Hope it goes that quickly.
It will. Good evening, Mary Ann Naif. I'm speaking for the Resiliency and Sustainability Committee. We have submitted information for a grant to, if we get it, to replace the very deteriorated boat landing at Garrison Cove. And also make the adjoining beach that is on top property resilient to up to 4 feet of sea level rise. Those of you who are in the area know how many different working waterfront businesses use that area. It's a small but really busy cove.
It's
and-
probably the busiest one in town.
Is it? Well, I
Yeah,
can't.
I think it is.
I think you would know, Kevin, yeah. So at any rate, we were preparing this grant. It is due to go in on Wednesday of next week. We are not sure of the cost yet. We had this originally engineered back in 2022. We then got a update from the engineers in 2024, which raised the cost. We are now trying to get an update on expected costs as well.
It started around 300,000.
That's true. And then we were told to raise it till 700. I don't think it's going to go up that much this time,
Yeah.
but we're not sure. My sense it'll be probably between 850 and 900. I'm not sure.
Wow.
But
Let's get it done before it goes up any higher.
well, that's kind of the feeling. So what we have tonight is two things. We're looking for support for us to apply for the grant, for the town to apply. And then also, the Resiliency and Sustainability Committee met on Tuesday and approved funds from SPIRA because we do have to have a 5% match. Not knowing the exact cost, we approved up to $50,000, which would take the cost up to $1 million. I see you guys
Yay.
are glazing over.
Whoa.
I don't think it will, be. However, knowing you're not going to meet again, we thought it would be up to that, and it will be the 5% of the cost that they.
So you want 50, not 45? Initially, you're asking 45.
Initially, I asked for 45. The committee said, let's say up to 50, just to be on the safe side.
Yeah, okay.
And it's kind of the same. I mean, it's going to be anything up to that. It could be less. So those are the two parts, basically, for you to approve the use of SPIRA funds, approve us applying for the grant, and then, because you will not be meeting again, authorize Christie to sign the grant and accept it. I'm glad to take any questions.
Was there any talk of just doing the boat ramp and not the berms around it?
There was. The problem is, this particular grant is actually to make the working waterfront more resilient. So we know what we can do with the grant. I mean, with the boat launch, you can't go out any deeper.
Right.
You have to keep the same footprint. So if we did just that, it really wouldn't qualify for this. And we look at how the beach is used by lobstermen, by so many people to
Oh,
even,
sure. Oh, yeah.
to have that be more resilient and, beefed up a little bit, I think will be, it'll be a really big help.
Yep.
Well, it was a really good sales pitch written up here, so I'm game.
Yeah.
That's the idea.
Well, I move that we authorize the application and that we also authorize the use of up to $50,000 from SPIRA and authorize the town administrator to approve and sign the application.
I'll second it.
Multi-part motion.
All in favor?
Thank you. And we'll push over the, as soon as we get the quote, I'll let you guys know what it is.
I'll get you Ethan's.
And you're going to give me his phone number? Yeah.
When would we hear back, do you think, about the grant? Any idea?
Probably not till the end of the next quarter,
All right,
is what I'm thinking.
all right,
Yeah.
sounds good.
They usually announce them right at the end of a quarter.
All right, thanks.
Yeah. And, oh, by the way, it's got to be done, and I think I put that in there, didn't I?
March 11th.
Yeah, but it also has to be done by the end of 2029, I think,
Oh, okay.
Oh,
something like that. Although the project will take about a year and a half once it gets started,
really?
I guess, from permitting.
Oh, permit, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can probably
Yep.
only do the end of
So we just say
water.
permitting, yep. Add a year onto it,
Right.
yeah.
Thanks a
Oh,
lot.
yeah. That'll take a while.
All righty. Baxter State Park Authority Memorandum of Understanding regarding overflow parking at the school.
So some of you may know, some may not, but there is an overflow parking lot at Harpswell Community School. It is not owned by the district, it's not owned by the town, it's owned by Baxter State Park Authority. And I believe there is a history with this issue where the town actually did put money in and helped create this lot, maintained it for a number of years, may even be paying the lighting, we're still sort of investigating that. But over the years, there was a document in place, and it just kind of fell by the wayside.
And so did the parking lot, by the way. It's all
Right.
overgrown.
Right.
I think when we run a snowplow through there, though, it should clean up a lot of that over the growth, the
Okay.
grass and bushes. There's a set of stairs that were originally put in that go from that parking area through the woods up to the school.
That's long gone.
I wouldn't walk on that anymore. That's
Yeah.
all overgrown.
I parked there.
That's in pretty bad shape.
Yeah.
If we want to continue to do that, and if we wanted to work on that path and the stairs, that might be good, but,
So we are working on a three-party agreement,
yeah.
but Baxter State Park Authority is also looking at selling the property, transferring the property. So whatever we decide to do with them, they basically said it would be through the end of this year. But this document you're looking at tonight, and we didn't have it in time to post, is really just a one-day approval.
So they're selling all the land, all the what was originally
That
test-
whole lot.
Austin Carey lot.
the Austin Carey lot, right, that's the entire peninsula.
I think the legislature gave them permission to sell it, I believe. It had to go through that process. And now they're looking for a specific buyer, someone who will maintain the
I think the
forestry
land trust was looking at it.
covenants.
It's all wetlands.
Yeah,
That-
quite a lot of it is, yeah.
Would it be worth, I mean, I'm fine with the memorandum, but do you think they would have any interest in when they sell that property and maybe parceling off that parking lot?
I don't think they can.
It's
I
gotta be
think
a
it's gotta
one.
be part of that whole.
Yeah, I didn't
think
know.
they're
It was
covenants.
deeded to them,
but-
and it's supposed to stay in this kind of forestry state, but they would give us permission, and I think
Yeah.
maybe a new owner would too,
Probably, 'cause
but.
it doesn't really,
they-
it's so far from where
Yeah,
the rest of the
I
lot
know,
is, kinda.
I know, yeah, maybe Mary Ann has something
Oh,
to add,
Yep.
I
here she
can
is.
give you a little,
okay?
Mary Ann Nave. There has been discussion because the land has to stay in its present use, I think, for up to 100 years.
Oh.
The Land Trust and Maine Coast Heritage Trust are looking at when it comes up to be able to purchase it. So I don't think the intention is ever to sell it off as house lots, even though you probably couldn't.
Yeah.
But there is an intention, I think, of where it will kind of stay in the same use it's had for years, with maybe some extended little amenities that come up. But that's I think that's pretty much, I was in a meeting last week about it, I think that's pretty much where that stands. And they're looking between, I think, someone local and someone further away that's a same type of organization.
Okay.
So this agreement would give us the right to plow it, to get it ready for the town meeting parking, and to use it for that one day. And, you know, we have our insurance coverage in place for this purpose.
Well, I move that we sign it and authorize the chair to sign it.
I second that.
All in favor?
Thank you.
All right. Signed March 14th, town meeting warrant and attachment.
So you've been working on this for,
Forever.
gosh, it seems like a couple months now.
It has been.
And we have a 55-article warrant for the voters to consider. We do give the budget figure in the annual town report. It's like a 4.5% increase in appropriations. $8,185,386. I do think there was one issue that came to our attention this week that we wanted to raise, and I believe it has to do with an organization of which you are the president, Select Board Member Chipman. And we understood or understand that the Harpswell Physical Education Association is not going to be holding a summer camp. And in their request to the town, they indicated that they were requesting $6,000. $2,000 of it was for the summer camp program, $3,000 for pickleball court operations,
Right.
and $1,000 for landscaping, kind of the final pickleball court area.
That pickleball has become incredibly popular. It's hard to play tennis there, there's so many pickleball players. But what happened is, due to unforeseen circumstances, we are not going to be able to run the summer camp this year. And boy, we've heard from a lot of people that are upset by that, but, and we've really talked this over. It was a tough decision to make. So 2,000 of what the request is for, as Christie said, is for the summer camp. I wish that we could transfer that because we're not having camp this year, we're going to kind of take the building apart and put it back together again. It needs a lot of work, a little more than just paint. So, and the playground's getting kind of old and needs a lot of work to bring it up to safety. So I was kind of hoping, Christie doesn't think it's possible, but I was kind of hoping that we could just transfer that 2,000 to building renovation. But she thinks it's needs to go through the Budget Advisory Committee.
I would agree, just because when the Budget Advisory Committee discussed that, they were quite excited themselves about that $2,000 being spent on that summer camp program, and that was one of the main reasons they supported that. So I feel as if that's not what it's being used for, they should at least be made aware of that and allowed to have said input that they would have had otherwise.
Understood. Yep, that's the camp has become really popular.
Yeah.
It's like the least expensive summer camp in the whole town, in the whole area. And a lot of the parents are grieving over it. But, I mean, we had to make that decision. We will be back next year, though. So, sorry, everybody, and we've done the best we can.
So I think the question before the board is, would you like to reduce that article now by 2,000? Do you want to?
Yeah.
It's 6,000 to start
Yeah.
with and then bring it down to 4.
Pardon?
I said it starts with 6 and brings it down to 4.
Right,
Right.
yeah. And
Put a
that-
donation box there. Pickleballers are generous.
Yep, yeah, I hope so.
I told them when they were building that, I go,
42,
listen,
okay.
it's gonna be pickleball.
Yep.
It is, it definitely is.
I'm-
People are
I'm
waiting
married
in
to a
line.
Former tennis player, switched to pickleball.
People are waiting in line to play pickleball over
They
there.
are.
Is that
I
it?
haven't picked it up yet, so.
You guys got to vote on.
Comment.
Neither you and I are old enough.
Yeah, I didn't say that. You did.
So we would make a reduction in Article, was it 44? I just had it. 42. And for 2026, Harpswell Neck Physical Education Association, it would be 4,000 rather than 6.
You need a motion and a vote on that, don't you?
Yeah, I think so.
I move that we reduce it by 2,000
Okay.
to 4,000.
Yep, I second it. All in favor?
And I recuse.
Okay.
There we go. Right,
So that would be the only change being presented tonight. There is one attachment to this warrant, and that is the
edit.
clarifying amendments to the comprehensive plan. Everything is on our website and available, so people can check this information out. They can
And
ask
we'll
us
have
for copies
handout,
if they'd like.
will we have copies of
We will
the
have
stuff on the
copies of the town
website
meeting.
at town meeting?
Yep,
Perfect.
definitely. Yep.
Okay.
So I think if you want to move to execute the 2025 annual town meeting warrant,
I think you just did.
I don't have the authority to
I will so
move
move.
that.
I will so second.
All right, all in favor?
Thank you.
Good. All right. Here's Matt's baby. Contract for propane fixed price per gallon.
So I'm happy to introduce that.
Go
As
right
the
ahead.
board has heard at prior meetings, there's been something amiss with our current heating system, and we seem to be going through propane. And so the select board agreed to increase the budget. And then Selectman Gilly did some research with our current company on getting a fixed rate per gallon. And there is a proposal to do just that at $2, excuse me,
I think it was 259.
$259.9.
259 and 9/10.
So simultaneously, I just want to reassure the board that we're continuing to work with our HVAC company. Chairman Johnson has shut the boiler off, which is what had been using all of that propane. And Thayer will continue to try to work out some of the bugs in our very warm room this evening here at the select board meeting.
Surprised you didn't open a window, frankly.
One of the,
We
one
don't
of the,
want to do that.
the blessings, I guess, if you want to call it, that of using all that propane is that's why we were able to get a discounted rate, because we use so much. So
Right.
it may not, if we have to lock into a new contract and we get that
Right.
fixed and we use what we're supposed to, it may not be as low.
Well-
But at least,
Don't explain it to them, what happened.
yeah, I won't.
So it seems like a good thing that the select board should
Oh,
consider.
God, yeah, yeah.
I'll move that we,
Go ahead.
I move that we sign the contract with Superior
The
for
fixed
1
price.
year.
And you want to authorize the town administrator
Yeah, and I
to...
authorize the town administrator to sign.
I will second that.
All in favor?
Hey,
All right, next one.
don't be bashful about making motions.
I'm still figuring it out.
Next one, it's coming back to us again, congressionally directed spending application.
Yes, so you may recall, although Select Board Member Gilly would not have been on the board at the time, or, no, actually you were. It was after, because the time frame for applying last year was after the March town meeting.
A lot happened between now and then, so thank you for the refresher.
But we had been told that this is typically a project, like the Emergency Services Building, that may be eligible for this kind of congressionally directed spending. And staff submitted an application with the board's approval to Senator Collins. It was for $1 million. We did not go further in that process last year, but we felt like we introduced our project, we got sort of in the queue or in line. And so here we are, we'd like to reapply in this coming fiscal year's federal budget. We don't know when a decision will be made, which makes it difficult because, you just don't know if you can count on this money or not. But it may be that some of our construction costs seem to be maybe a little bit higher than anticipated. We might have to do some bid add-ons, so there may be ways of,
I think we can count on those things, actually.
we can count on those things,
Yeah.
yeah. So I think there's ways to deal with this and, you know, to make improvements if we get the money down the road. But we still have to continue planning for our project, expecting to get it, you know, off the ground in September. And this may or may not be a known decision at that point in time. But I think one of the questions that we have for the board is, last year we applied for $1 million. We're wondering, you know, if you consider like escalation factors, maybe we should ask for 1.5 million in this coming year.
Well, you know, if we can justify that, sure, why not?
Were you able to find out if that was the same congressionally directed spending that came from Congresswoman Pingree as well? Was that the same pool? We had talked about it the other day, if it was worth.
It's hard for me to understand exactly how all of this
yeah.
works, but I
Does
did.
Mary Ann, maybe?
I did talk to somebody today that suggested, and I want to do a little more research, that they suggested it might behoove us to also apply to Senator King.
Yeah.
And I
Oh,
did
yeah.
get
That's what I was
the
getting at.
deadline for that application is March 25th, but the deadline for Senator Collins is March 18th. So you may not be meeting again before that March 18th deadline that
Yep.
is the Collins deadline. So I really wanted to get that one in. Pingree's, I think, is tomorrow, and again, I don't know enough about how all this works, but I do believe, based on Senator Collins' position,
Oh, she's definitely the
you know,
most likely to
it's
get us the
like-
money.
probably a good idea for us to approach her.
If you see all the ads lately, she's super senator. Get anything done.
She has.
I hope she continues to.
Right.
So I think we're looking for the board to approve an application to Senator Collins, and I don't know if you want to include Senator King, or you could deal with that at your next meeting, because you would have time for that.
Maybe we could get a little more,
Pardon?
maybe get a little more detail.
Okay,
on
okay.
Yeah.
But-
if we're doing any good.
Yeah, because we don't really want them competing with one
Right.
another,
Right.
but,
Right.
Yeah.
so I'll do a little more investigation about if that helps us, or.
I'm guessing they talk.
I
Yeah.
suspect they do.
I would hope
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
do. I mean,
Yeah. Well, I don't think they're old
I'm
down
thinking
there.
they do.
no, but I
I'm
mean,
thinking
you would
these two
hope
do.
from the
Yeah.
same state they would.
Yeah,
Right, yeah.
so I
They're
think,
both reasonable people.
you know, there are things, if you get the federal money, like, you do have to abide by certain conditions, and I think purchasing primarily American-made products, maybe all American-made products, there are things that,
Yeah.
that you have to do to
Right.
follow their
Yeah.
rules, and I don't think we would have any issues with that. And it came up at our last fire, our meeting with the construction manager, with the architect and fire chiefs.
I would like to
that-
think that they would be aware if we would be purchasing non-American things, especially where they were recommending we
yeah,
reach
yeah.
out to.
Yeah,
You know,
they pretty much said, there's more paperwork involved. It's
Yeah.
one of the things they said.
But I
And you
wouldn't
know
think
that
they'd
about
recommend
grants,
us to
so-
reach out if we were
Yeah,
buying
yeah,
half the
right,
metal from.
right. So they
country.
suggested, maybe you should ask for money again, and maybe you should ask for a little bit more, and,
No.
The folks at the recycling committee last night were actually asking about, how's it going with the fire station? What's the progress?
so the progress is we're starting to meet, like, construction manager
Yeah.
and architect in town, and fire department representatives, and there are preliminary issues that need to be dealt with. So there is proximity to a vernal pool,
We need the Stoner melt.
and we have to have that investigated. We have reached out to Flycatcher, it now has a new name, and they're going to do that investigation, but it has to be like April, there's a certain period of time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They're looking at whether or not we can adjust the building slightly, so.
Bring it this way some?
Well, they're looking at the cost of the reconstruction of the road, and they started talking about the fiber cable that
Yep.
runs
Yeah,
from Mountain Road to the tower,
yes.
and they said, we really don't want to disturb that if we don't have to.
Has there
So
been any
there's all
in
these-
consideration of moving the paramedic building?
That came up.
but
I mean, this is,
cost-wise, it wouldn't make any sense.
They used to hook up oxen to a giant buildings and move them, so moving buildings is nothing really.
it
They
was,
moved the house that the co-op was halfway to Canada before it fell off the bar.
Right, yes, yes.
Hey, I moved my house from Topsom, so, you know, I know
Yeah,
about moving.
we got a
but,
professional right here.
yeah.
but the auctions work for free.
So there's a lot of discussion going on about site issues.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And there's no final determination on exactly where it's going to sit.
Everyone's kind of hoping that it won't impede the, what is now Community Drive, and having to drive around behind the building. I mean, everybody is really concerned about that, so.
Well, my understanding was the concept proposal had it sitting on Community Drive.
Yes, it did.
And then the new road was going in down by the paramedic building,
And then behind.
where
yes.
there used to be a road
Yeah.
that went to the facility. So that's
Yeah, that was-
kind of the way we've been operating, but recently in these discussions, there's been some talk about, can the building be sited in such a way that it wouldn't have as much of an impact on Community Drive?
Good, all right,
But
good.
there's no answer yet.
No,
Change
we'll know in
the-
April and May.
Change the
Huh?
shape of the building or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
Well, all right, I will move that we authorize the staff to prepare and submit an application for the CDS funds.
I'll second that.
Did you want to say the amount you would like us to?
No, 1.5 million.
Okay.
1.5 million.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Thank you.
All right. Ooh, look at this. Public comment?
Actually, since it's,
Be good.
since the polls closed at 6:30, for those who are thinking of voting in the secret ballot items on, well, you can vote on them now. The Article 4, which is the Clark's Cove issue, I want to say to anyone who's thinking of voting on that to please visit the Allen Point Road and see the community, the neighborhood that you'll be affecting by doing this. So voting no does not prevent people from going there. I just need to emphasize that. The people around it, the neighbors, as much as I've heard, the neighbors seem to think they own that property. No, they don't. I can say they don't. They feel that way. They understand and respect that piece of property and know that it's really conservation land, and they do take care of it without charge to the town. And they welcome anyone to go there. They're not, this whole point, voting no is not to prevent folks from going there. But voting yes would develop it and bring people in there from Lewiston, Auburn, all over, focus them down into the Allen Point Road. So I think that's the concern that folks have.
Yeah. Hey, why don't you stay there for a minute?
I have some issues with how you've handled this, David.
Oh, I've handled it?
Yeah. Using your position as a select board liaison to announce at a committee meeting that people should vote no on a ballot item is not transparent, and it does not help the integrity of this board. I myself, since I've been elected, have recused myself on issues where there has been a perceived conflict of interest, not even a conflict of interest, a perceived conflict of interest. And when you do stuff like that, it takes away from our integrity as a board. So I would appreciate it as a board member if we would try to uphold the integrity that the town has elected us to maintain.
I heard comments from the committee. They weren't pleased you did that.
Ah, they were shocked. Well, it was after voting.
Is it
and
appropriate, David? And
I don't know.
I don't know how many times over the years, from the water tower today, I always say about you, David, you would do the right thing if you knew what it was.
I always seem to pick the wrong side.
It doesn't matter wrong side or right side, it's how you handle yourself in these situations.
Right, you recused yourself for putting it on the ballot, but then you recommended the thing that you recused yourself to put on the ballot. It just doesn't pass the straight face test.
Well,
And I dropped the ball on that. I should have pointed that out then.
But you could-
And I will going forward of hindsight's 20/20, as they say, but we've got to be better at checking ourselves,
Yeah.
is what I'm saying.
But the explanation that I made to the anchor, and they quoted me exactly, as a matter of fact, which is, I won't say it's unusual, but, I mean, exactly what I said for my reason for recommending but not voting. So it's there, and it's in black and white. Did Mary Ann want to speak? Anyway, the concerns of the neighbors are that it will direct a lot of traffic in there, and people can go there. They can go there anytime they want, and they have been, so. Okay. Is this a counter-argument?
It is public comment, right?
Yeah, it is.
Mary Ann.
You
And
have 6 minutes.
I didn't, and I'm not going to take
I'll
long.
give you an extra 3.
I just, kind of for equal time, there was you made the pitch, basically, to vote no, and I would like everybody to read what's online and make your own decision, but sometimes in conversation, things are sort of thrown out that make you think it could be really a big harm to your neighborhood. We don't know. But the Town Lands Committee has put in a lot of effort to try to do something to make more easier pathways to the water when we have them. So just everybody read what's online before you make your choice. Thank you.
Thanks. I saw you sign. All right. Any other business down the line there?
Nope,
Terry?
No.
Chrissy?
no, all set.
Matt? David?
Not
In
for
that
me.
case, we're adjourned.